Hello, Commerce and Insurance teammates. Scott Wilder here from TLETA, and today we're going to be talking about general physical fitness. All right, so as we're putting together a physical fitness program, let me tell you the great news about it. There's no need to join a gym. There's no need to buy a bunch of expensive equipment. Physical fitness is cheap and it's easy to do. And I'm talking cheap as in it can be free. Basically, the only thing you need is some floor space for yourself to be able to fit your body on and some comfortable clothes to work out in. If you got that, the only other thing you need to know is just a few basic principles that I'm going to help you with here today so you can put together a workout program for you. Whenever you're putting together a workout program, the first thing you need to ask yourself is, what am I trying to achieve? Am I gearing my physical fitness towards running? Am I gearing it towards appearance? Maybe you want to tone up your body or some body parts or areas of your body. Maybe you're into swimming, cycling, whatever the case may be. That's what you need to ask yourself in order to put together a proper physical fitness program. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about what we do out at TLETA, where we gear all of our physical fitness towards the police recruits as towards what's known as GPP, General Physical Preparedness. Before we get into what actually makes up GPP, let's talk about a few things that are really important. Number one, when it comes to physical fitness, the exercises that you do, the quality of that exercise is much more important than the quantity of the exercises you do. You could do 100 push-ups, but if they're not a great form, they're worthless. It's better to do one push-up great than it is to do 5 horrible. So always remember quality over quantity, and that's going to get you further on in your workout program. Once you get your workout program and the basic principles kind of put together, your imagination is really your only limitation. You can put together all kinds of workout programs to cover different body parts, multiple exercises, back-to-back, circuits, singles, whatever you want to do. So the only thing that's ever going to limit yourself is once you understand your guiding principles is your imagination. So when we talk about general physical preparedness, as we gear our physical fitness program towards the police recruits, we're looking for just overall physical fitness, because as police officers, they may have to run one day, they may have to push cars out of the road, they may have to pick up heavy weights, they may have to wrestle with somebody who's twice their size. So we look for a physical fitness program that covers all the areas of physical fitness. And those areas are cardiorespiratory endurance, stamina, agility, strength, flexibility, power, speed, coordination, balance, and accuracy. So the physical fitness program we put together, what I'm going to kind of be geared towards today, is to cover these 10 traits of general physical preparedness. All right, so when we're putting together our workout program, the first thing we need to do is always focus in on warming up. You want to warm up your body, excuse me, you want to warm up your body before you actually get into the workout that you're going to do. And by that, I mean you want to warm up the area of what you're fixing to target on. So if you're going to work on your chest, you want to warm up that muscle part. If you're going to work on your legs, you'd want to warm that up. And you do this either by stretching, pushing and pulling exercises, or just general movements and repetitions. So if I was going to work on my chest, arm rotations, pushes, pulls, fly movements, leaning back, stretching my body on the door, reaching back on the wall, swap out the other side. One we do at TLETA that kind of covers the whole body is we'll step out into a deep lunge, put our arm down, our left hand on the ground, roll up with the right hand, swap it out, roll up with this one, roll over as far as we can. You can also do toe touches, holding those. You can do frog squats, where you sit on the ground and you push your knees outward as far as you can. There's a whole different set of different stretches and stuff that you can do to get your body warmed up. But the biggest thing is that you want to focus on is warming up the muscle that you are targeting in your workout. So whenever you get that warm up or the stretch that you're going to do, my recommendation to you is do it 5 times, holding it or doing it for 5 seconds. Take a breather, do it again. 5 times for 5 seconds for each warm-up exercise that you're going to do. When you do your warm-up, you want to do a warm-up sequence of about 5 to 10 minutes before you get into what we're going to step into with number 2, your strength component. Your strength component in your workout is geared towards the large muscle groups, your chest, your legs, your core, your back, the large muscle groups that kind of get all your other little muscles to work together. So now that you've set up, you've taken step one and you've done your warm-ups component of your workout, let's talk about your strength component. Your strength component, you need to pick a day where you work on your chest muscles. You can do this through push-ups, and I'll demonstrate a proper push-up. If you do a push-up, you want your hands shoulder width, back straight. You're going to come down until the biceps are parallel to the floor, elbows at a 45-degree angle, straight up, straight down, straight up, straight down. Now, what if you're not to the point where you can do a push-up? There's nothing wrong with that. You can focus on the same exercise using our knees. You want your hands slightly shoulder width apart. You're on your knees, and you will lower yourself down until your biceps are parallel to the floor, elbows at 45 degrees. Regardless of the type of push-up that you do, it's important to be sure that you keep your elbows closer to your sides and not flared out greater than 45 degrees at an angle to your body. Once you get into that, you're running in some areas where you're not getting the maximum benefit for your workout. What if you've got the ability to access weights? You can use a weight set, and when you get underneath the bench, lay flat on the bench, putting your feet flat on the floor, elbows straight out, wrist straight. You lower the weight down and straight up. So whether or not you have access to a weight set or you're going to be doing push-ups, it's a great way to get that strength component in for your chest. What type of sets or should I do? Well, that depends. If you're going to be using iron weights, I strive or recommend toward using what's known as a 5-set, 5-rep, trying to increase my weight every week. If I'm using push-ups, start out in sets of doing 5 sets, but find a number that works for you. Everybody's going to be different. Some people may be able to knock out 20 push-ups in one of their sets. They may be able to do 30. They may be able to do 50. They may be able to do 100. They may be able to do 1. But you want to be able to work your strength component when it comes to your chest in about 5 sets of the reps that are comfortable for you. During your 5 sets, if you can get the same number of reps each one, it's time for you to increase your reps. All right? So now we've talked about our strength component as it concerns our chest. Let's talk about our deadlift. Our deadlift, a lot of people associate with back injuries. The secret to the deadlift is it works every muscle in the body. So by that, it actually strengthens the back. There's been several tests done and studies that they founded where it shows people that actually had back injuries were put on a deadlift type workout. They actually improved the strength of their core and their back. The secret to it is using proper form. So let's say, here we go. You've got a set of dumbbells, and you don't have to use dumbbells. If you don't have any, it's no big deal. Whatever you have around the house that is actual weight that you can use, whether it's a case of something, maybe it's a crate full of books, whatever, it doesn't matter. You want to get your feet right up to it, shoulder width apart. You're going to step down to your weight, and using your head forward, back straight, you're standing straight up with the legs. I will turn to the side. Using whatever weight you're using, you're going to pick it straight up off the floor. Back straight, straight lift. Is what a lot of people associate with deadlift that's wrong and incorrect is picking the weight up but doing this. That's a recipe for a back injury. So we don't round out our back. We're lifting straight up with the legs and our core. The deadlift. They call it the king of lifts for a reason. It covers every muscle in the body. Now, what about the squat? The squat focuses on our thighs, our hams, our front thighs. It focuses on the large muscles of the legs, but it also works a lot of the core and on the back. So the squat, you're going to get your feet shoulder width apart. You're going to drop down until your thighs are at least parallel to the floor or lower. Back straight, straight up, straight up, straight down, straight up. If you have a weight set, use the bar the same way. If you don't have a weight set, you can just use your own body weight. So again, work towards 5 sets of a rep that is comfortable for you. You don't want to just knock out one and be like, okay, I've done 1 set, and then find out that's not near enough. You need to custom tailor the reps you do per set to suit your body style. Always push yourself a little bit more. The press. Some people call it the military press. Some people call it the overhead press. Some people call it a shoulder press. It really doesn't matter. It's all really the same. It's what we're focusing on this one is we're focusing on our shoulder muscles and our upper body muscles. And basically it's what you're going to do with the press is you're going to take whatever weight you have available. I'll show you some of the stuff that I've come up with here that you can use and create your own. Let's say you're going to use that crate of books that you had around the house. Using this as my crate, I'll grab the weight and I'm going to push it straight up. Straight up. The secret to this one is you want to keep your back straight and push the weight straight up. If you're coming from underneath the chin, be sure you get your head back out of the way as the weight comes up. What if I don't have any weights or I'm having to come up with something on my own? Well, that's one reason that I wanted to shoot this video here at my house to show you is that I don't have a whole lot of elaborate equipment. A lot of the stuff that I've come up with my own. In this particular situation right here, I've got a series of Army surplus laundry bags I got for $5 a piece. Inside these bags, I've weighed out some sand like you put in a sandbox for your kids and put it inside of 2 trash bags, sealed it up tight, then put it inside these laundry bags. And by using these weights, this one's 50, I got a 75 and 100. You can grab the weight. Here's your deadlifts. You can lay on the ground and use them as a bench press. You can use the same one as a shoulder press. You can use them as a squat by getting it on the back and using the same techniques that I showed you. I've done the same thing with some old ammo cans. You can get these for about $10. Use the same thing and just fill them up with concrete, sand, whatever you may have. So coming up with exercise equipment doesn't have to be complicated. You can use a 5-gallon bucket full of water out in your driveway. If you don't mind the hot summer days, it might actually be refreshing. So we've talked about our strength component, working on the large muscle groups of our body. Step 3 of a proper fitness program needs to go into what's known as the accessory component. The accessory component. And it's what this is this is taking the little muscles that support the large muscles that I've just talked about. So let's say, for instance, I did a bench press today. That was my strength component. I did a whole bunch of push-ups. The next thing that I may want to do to work on the smaller muscles is maybe change my push-up position to where now I'm using it by using a chair or a table, coffee table, and I'm going to change the angle. And I'm using a decline. I can do the same thing by using a chair and using an incline. Now I'm working the higher and the lower portions of my pec muscles like I was using in the bench press. I'm fine-tuning those muscles. So I've come up with the accessory component. I've done 1 exercise. I need to come up with 2 more that'll work in tandem with that. So let's say after you've done your major bench press work, I've got 2 candle holders or 2 candelabras that you may have sitting on your coffee table at home. Use those. And you can work on a fly. In addition to your incline to your decline push-ups, you may be able to take your sandbag or some other weighted type material, lay on the ground, and push it straight up. And it's what you want to do with these smaller exercises after you've done your main strength component is you want to run them in what's known as a circuit. Back to back to back. Knock out 10 reps, roll into the next one, knock out another 10 reps. Roll into the next one, 10 reps, take a 1-minute break, and then hit them again. Work through at least 3 times. Try to get 5. When you get good with the accessory component after your strength component, try to work in 2 accessory components so that you got a total of 6 exercises and 2 circuits. 2 circuits of 3 exercises each. So once you've gotten that endurance built up, now after you've hit your strength component and you're hitting your accessory component, you're building not only endurance into that muscle, you're building blood flow, and the muscle is starting to grow to increase your stamina on down the road. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit here in a second about specific accessory exercises to support what you're doing in the strength component. But let's talk about our 4th component of a proper fitness workout, conditioning. Conditioning is the actual cardiovascular respiratory building of your body. It's going to be things like running, biking, swimming, jogging, hiking, anything that's long and drawn out where you're really focusing on that lung and that heart capacity. The good thing is about conditioning, it is the floating component of a workout program. For me particularly, several days during the week, I follow this model, but on Thursdays, I will typically drop that 4th component, and my whole day on Thursday will typically be just conditioning. I'll do a 5 to a 10 mile run. So the conditioning element of your fitness program can be its own separate thing if you need to. For the most part, we all have jobs and we have places to be. So in order to devote 2 or 3 hours a day into just a workout is not really reality with most people's busy schedules. So when you put all this together, this is the type of format you want to follow, but understand you can take your conditioning component and make it its own separate day depending on what you want to do. The conditioning, again, focuses on cardiovascular and respiratory endurance. So we've talked about the warm-up. We've talked about the big 4 when it comes to the strength components. We have talked about building the accessory components to your strength component, which is putting smaller exercises in back to back to back, and you're building that muscular endurance on top of the strength that you've already acquired. And we have also talked about conditioning, which builds the heart-lung function and how this can be its own component. The one thing that we have not talked about yet is you need to work on your abs, your core. Your core is the area that holds everything all together. One example that a lot of people are not aware of is that when you do your shoulder press or your military press, whether you're using weights, whether you're using something that you have around your house, you can do them sitting or you can do them standing. If you do them standing, you engage 43 more muscles in your body because they are required to do the balance of keeping you steady while you do the exercise. So some exercises, you can build them into where they overlap. So what can we do for our abs? Well, there's many exercises we can do for our abs. You got the good old high school sit-ups, knees bent, lock your feet in. If you're like me, I kind of tend to have somebody hold it, or I have to do it right here. Flat on the floor, up, up. Maybe the sit-ups don't work for you. Maybe you need to do something like crunches. Crunches, if you have lower back issues, or simply a modified sit-up, bring your knees up here. And you pull yourself up to your knees. You can also do what's known as planks. That's where you hold your body rigid, straight line. This is a center. This would be facing left, facing right, center. And we tend to hold each one. Our goal, let's say starting out, would want to be 30 seconds of a plank, left, right, and center. 30 seconds. Build up to minutes if you can. But 30 seconds would be a good realistic goal. Another one that we can do is a lot of people have these exercise balls. Some people use them just to sit on. An exercise ball is a great ab workout. Get flat, put your legs on the exercise ball, and pull it up to your knees. Pull it up. All the way back. Pull it up. Pull it up. By doing those, you really engage your core a whole lot. They're known as body saws. In addition to that, if you have a banister around the house or something that you can grab a hold of, I'll use the weight bench right here. You can do what's known as dragonflies. Hold on to it, and you're going to pull yourself up. Be sure you're not pulling yourself with your arms, you're pulling yourself with your core. Any ab exercise that you do, you want to gear yourself towards 5 sets of at least 12 reps. Plenty of ab exercises out there, those are just some basic ones. So now we've covered conditioning, we've talked about our accessory, we've talked about our abs. What do we do when we're done? You need to cool down. The biggest thing you need to do is cool down and get that body working itself out and getting itself in a new mode to know that the stress that you put it under is now coming to an end and it's got to properly cool down. Take time to walk, take time to stretch, jog in place, and be sure you drink water, water, water. The water you drink today is for your body tomorrow. So when you get done, one of the things that I like to do is I like keeping up with a journal. Here's 10 years worth of journals of exercise programs, so I can go back and look at what my increases are, what I need to work on, where maybe I'm falling behind, or exercises I haven't done in a while. You're always looking for that incremental improvement. Don't compare yourself to others. Find a friend that you can work out with and challenge each other, but don't compare yourself to somebody. We're all different. We all have individual ways of performing, and we all perform differently. So don't compare yourself to somebody because somebody may not be as good at running as you are, but you may be great at lifting. Every 12 weeks, you also need to consider taking a light week and work yourself down. Work yourself lower down to what you've been doing so that your body can start getting in some extra rest. But don't take off. You still want to do light activity, even if it's just gardening around the house or walking or something. But about every 12 weeks, you need to have a real light week to let your body reset. How often? I try to stress that we need to work out at least 4 days a week at a minimum. No more than 6 days a week. If you get over 6 days, you start getting into overtraining issues and you're doing more detriment than harm. So you need to be sure that you rest. Make sure you get good sleep, make exercise fun, make it always different. Always look for different exercises for you to do. Set goals, eat right. Remember, if it comes in a bag or a box, it's a product. It's not necessarily a food substance. It was manufactured somewhere to put on the shelves. So try to contain your shopping to the periphery of the store and focus on things that are natural. I'm going to flip over to a chart here that's going to give you some ideas. It's too many of them to go through, but I'll let my astute cameraman here zoom in on it so you can resort back to it in the YouTube video. But here's a whole list of different exercises that complement your strength components. Here's a set of exercises for your squats, set of exercises that relate to your deadlift, set of exercises that relate to your bench press and your shoulder press, your chest, shoulders, whole body, and squats. These are different exercises you can look up. These are just a few, just a fraction. So understand that there's a whole lot of these that are out there that you can do beyond what I'm just showing right here. So let's talk about some terms that you can do, and I'll show you how to put together a workout program that's quick and easy that you can do anywhere. AMRAP. AMRAP means as many rounds as possible. How many rounds can you do within a specific time frame? So let's say I've got 30 minutes before I got to leave to go to work. How much workout can I get in 20 minutes and still have time to clean up, get out the door? So what I need to do, all right, I'm going to work push-ups. I need to do something for my legs. I'm going to do some air squats, and I want to work maybe some back and arms. So let's say I'm going to do pull-ups. I'll do 3 pull-ups, 10 push-ups, and 20 air squats. That'll be my set. 3 pull-ups, 10 push-ups, 20 air squats. How many of those sets can I do in, say, the 20 minutes? And your goal is to be able to knock those out. Pull-ups, push-ups, squats. Pull-ups, push-ups, squats. How many times can I go through that circuit within my 20-minute time? As many rounds as possible. And when you get done, after you've been through all those, write down your time, and the next time you do it, that's the number to beat. TLETA. TLETA was designed by a Japanese scientist to help some Olympic athletes that were recovering from some injury. And what you do with the TLETA is it's an app you get on your phone. It's free. You set the time, 20 seconds of exercise, 10 seconds of rest. 20 seconds of all-out exercise, 10 seconds of rest. And you go through it 8 times. Those are 30-second windows. 8 times gives you a 4-minute workout. Pick 2 or 3 exercises and TLETA through those 3 or 4 exercises or 2 or 3 exercises that you pick. Sounds easy that you be getting a lot of breaks. Wait till you try it. Good workout. Every minute on the minute. So let's go back to the example that I was going to use with the 3 pull-ups, 10 push-ups, 20 air squats. What I would do different with an every minute on the minute is every minute on the minute I would do my 3 my 3 pull-ups, my 10 push-ups, and my 20 air squats. And then I get to have a break for the rest of that minute. Second minute rolls around, I hit it again. 3 pull-ups, 10 push-ups, 20 air squats. The incentive is to work through it correctly to have a longer rest break before the next minute rolls around. Finally, a circuit. We've talked about that. That's one exercise after another. You typically do this in 3 or 4 exercises. Circuit workouts are really good, and that's what we focus on in the accessory. Here's a good one that I like doing a whole lot. It's the deck of cards. The deck of cards is you just take a standard deck of playing cards. You can keep the jokers in, you can throw them out, whatever you want. But the number values of the card is the number of the exercise you do. If it's a face card, it's 10. If it's an ace, it's an 11. But other than that, the number assigned to it is what it is. So let's say, again, focusing on our strength component, you may want to do push-ups. Let's say push-ups are hearts. Think of the heart and the chest and the floor. All right, so I pull out 2 of hearts. I knock out 2 push-ups. Let's say on diamonds, I decided to do burpees, which burpees are a whole body workout. You jump down into the squat, push-up position, jump up, clap your hands. Burpee works the whole body. Let's say I assign that to clubs. If I pull out the 8 of clubs, I do 8 burpees. Let's say I'm going to pull out spades or pull-ups. I will do whatever the number of the pull-up card is. And then say finally we get to, what have I left out? Diamonds. Diamonds, we're going to do air squats. If I pull out the 10 of diamonds, 10 air squats. If you cycle through the whole 52 set of cards, you'll find out that you've gotten yourself a good workout out of the whole thing. Deck of cards. If you take a deck of cards with you no matter where you go, you can always have a workout with you. Sign whatever you want to it. All right. So we've been through just the basics of putting out a workout. Don't forget, the big thing you want to do is set up a strength component where you're focused largely on your large muscle groups, chest, shoulders, core, legs, your whole body, type top to bottom, front, back with a deadlift, and then your leg components. Then, once we've knocked those out, we're going to put together the accessory, where we're building on the smaller muscles in circuit after the strength component. All right. All right, so we've covered all the basics of how to put together a physical fitness component. Be sure that when you put these together, start small. Find out what you can do. Be sure you focus on your form. Be sure you focus on building incremental improvement. Good form, quality over quantity, at least 4 days a week,